Morning everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a preview at the start there. We're going to get into it now. I say morning because it is really early on a Sunday morning, and I'm just going to get a roast started today. So got to get up early, get it all prepared, get it going. First time I've ever done this, but well, not the first time I've ever cooked a roast, but first time I've ever cooked this sort of roast over here. It's a Australian Rumpcap roast. So there it is there. We bought this, I actually bought this like a month ago. It's got a really good use by date, 1st of July 2023. Was 38 bucks, so a reasonable price. It was something that we got in Woolies, and Annie picked it up, and we never had them in stock before, so we decided to get it and we're going to give it a go. We're going to slow cook it probably for about 7 hours on the little kettle charcoal cooker. I'm going to use heat beads. It's going to be really slow cook. I've been watching heaps of videos. Annie's been watching heaps of videos about it, and we're going to give it a go. It's very simple. We've got a few ingredients here. The roast is one of them. Like I said there, it's early Sunday morning, and it is a tradition in Australia to have the Sunday roast, or it used to be. I don't know whether it still is. How many people still have a Sunday roast? I can remember when I was growing up as a kid, and mum would be putting on the old Sunday roast. She'd have the big old aluminium fry pan in the oven, and she'd be cooking away all afternoon on a Sunday, and you'd sit down with your family on a Sunday night and you'd have baked potatoes and carrots and broccoli, and you'd make up the gravy in the old fry pan. Like you'd take the roast out, and she'd make up a really nice gravy without all the oil and all the dregs left from when you were cooking the roast in the bottom of the fry pan. Probably wasn't very healthy, but I'll tell you what, it bloody tasted great. So we're looking to bring back some of that great taste today. Hopefully it all works out. I don't know whether it has yet because I haven't seen the end of this video. Hopefully I've put it up at the start to show you what it looks like, and it turned out amazing. But we'll go through this journey, and I won't go too much into the whole long cooking time of it all. Hopefully the video won't go for too long, but all I want to basically do is show you how we're preparing it. I will leave some stuff in the description just on what we're using and stuff like that, but let's get into it. I'll show you all the ingredients. So first off, the roast. Again, it's a beef rump cap. There it is there, up there on that camera, or down there on that camera there if it's a little bit better. I've got two cameras going in the background there. So that's the beef roast. I'm using old Terry G's original chopping board that he did for me with FJ Camping and Touring. So I am using it, Terry. And one of the other ingredients I'm going to be using is an American mustard in Australia, but the recipe I looked at, they just said use a mustard as your base. You don't put any oil on it or anything, so you just use the mustard. I've got some apple cider vinegar. Now this is going to be mixed with water, and we're going to use this to brush on the roast occasionally as we're doing the cook up. Because it's going for so long, you want to keep the meat nice and moist. We want to get that really thick bark look on the outside, and we want the inside to be really tender. We'll be using a temperature probe as well. I've got to go grab that, so I'll go grab that now. So with the help of editing and stuff like that, I quickly run out to the shed there, which took probably 20 minutes for me to find this bloody thing because I haven't used it in that long. But it's only taken a couple of seconds on here. I've got my little Weber temperature probe thermometer, so this will connect by Bluetooth to my phone, and we'll be able to keep an eye on the internal temperature of the meat. So that's what I'll be using today. But I think with cooking, you've got to use a little bit of your own smell and touch and judgment and things like that. These are only just a helpful device to help you out. You don't really need it, but I always find you can usually tell how things are going by sticking a fork into it, or a prong or something like that, or a probe or something, just manually, so that you can see how the meat's going. Also, I have another thing over here that I've got to grab. prior preparation should be the basis of all videos. I've tried to do as much as I can. Now I've got this baker's paper which I've purchased from Bunnings. There's a whole big roll of it there, so I'll be able to do a few roasts. So what we're going to do at the end, when it gets close to the finish time, probably an hour or two before the end of the video, we'll take the meat out of the cooker. We're going to wrap it in baking paper, in this butcher's paper, seal it all back up, and then throw it back in the barbecue and let it cook for a bit longer. Then we'll take it off and let it rest inside this, and that should bring all the moisture out in the meat. Like I said, we're going to mix the apple cider vinegar with water and have a spray bottle. I have got that close here with me, guys. I didn't have that too far away. I've got it up in the cupboard here, so we're going to put it in that spray bottle there, and we'll be spraying the meat to keep it moist. The American mustard. And the final ingredient is the rub. And before I get into that, big shout out to Barbecue Spit Rotisseries. As you know, been doing a bit of cook-ups with them, doing chicken wings, did a bit of a roast there the other day on the spit, but they've sent me out a new roast. I'll have an upcoming video on that soon. The Porkinator. Can't wait to test that out, guys. Thanks, Barbecue Spit Rotisseries. If you want to get any of these rubs, get onto their website. I'll leave a link in the description. You can purchase all these rubs off them. They're absolutely amazing. I find them really great. You can buy them in a pack or you can buy them singly. You can buy as many as you want. I'm going to have a giveaway on one of these soon, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when my videos are coming up, because I will have a giveaway on this new Porkinator rub. I'm going to give one of those away, not today. When I do the pork cook-up, it'll be on that one, so stay tuned. But I have these other ones that they sent me ages ago. We did some chicken wings last night on the little kettle thing over charcoal. They're absolutely amazing. We used the chicken rub, that one there. We used that on it. They were fantastic, absolutely amazing. But today we're going to use the brisket and steak rub. So this comes in this little kit. It's this one here, right there. Going to be amazing. We're going to put the mustard on. We're going to put this on, spread it all over it. Then we're going to set it in the little container over here. Let it rest at room temperature for a while. So once we get the barbecue going, the meat will be at room temperature. It won't be cold inside, because you don't want your meat to be sort of at fridge temperature when you put it on the barbecue, because it's going to bring down the heat in the barbecue straight away, and you're going to find it's going to take a lot of time to get the barbecue back up to temperature again. So make sure you pull your meat out early enough so that it gets to sort of a room temperature, internal temperature in it. You don't want it freezing cold out of your fridge. So I'll stop gas bagging. We'll get into it. We'll cut this open. We're going to have a look at the meat, clean her up a bit. We might have to trim a little bit of fat off, do a little bit of scoring in the top there. And then it's just going to be as simple as rubbing the mustard on, putting the rub on, and then letting it rest. And then the next thing we'll do is throw it on the barbecue, show you that, and then we might show you a little bit of footage in between, just how it's going, some of the things we're doing in while we're cooking it over this long period of time. But yeah, thanks very much, guys. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Okay everyone, we've taken it out of the packet. We've had a look at it. We've patted it all down just to get some of the blood off it. You can see there it's a really great piece of meat. Absolutely beautiful colour, beautiful fat on the top there. Beef cap, can't wait to test this out. we're gonna just trim some of the little bit of fat off the bottom here, because you don't want that on your meat on the bottom. So we'll just trim some of this off, get rid of that, and once we get rid of that, we can get in to getting the rub on there. So I'll get all this off, chop all this little bit of fat off the bottom here, then we'll show you the top, do the little bit of scoring and get into it. Okay, we've taken all the meat off, all the fat and that off the back there. This is the remnants there, so you can see there that it's just the real fatty skin off the bottom. You want to take that off, because if you don't, you'll find when you put it on the barbecue plate that it'll want to curl the meat up too much, and you won't get the cooking going through the bottom here. So we're just going to turn it over, and I've cut a little tiny bit of fat off some of the edges here as well. But what we're going to do now is just lightly score the meat. We're not going to go right through the fat. We just want to put a little line just into the fat section. We'll just turn it the other way, and we'll just go back this way. So what this is going to do, it's going to allow the rub and that to penetrate into the fat and get through into the meat. So that's about it. Now all it's a matter of doing is getting the mustard and all that and rubbing it on. We might start on the bottom actually. We'll do that because when we turn it over, all the remnants will go onto the bottom there. So I probably haven't opened this up. Yes, I have. How's that? Prior preparation. So we'll squirt a bit of this on there and just rub that all the way around. Now if you get too much on there, just wipe it off on your hand and put it on the other side, but we might put the rub on now and just make sure it's rubbed right in. That's it there. So I might get my assistant here in the background to grab, because my hands are covered in mustard now, and I might get her just to grab the rub, and she can come around the back here or over the side there and she'll put all the rub on it for us. So you want a good liberal coating of this all over it, because this is going to give you the flavour and the bark all over it. And just pat it down. I'm using my hand that hasn't got so much rub all over it, and because I've got the greaseproof paper underneath the bottom here, you can get it on all the edges. Just make sure you get all the edges covered and just pat it into the meat so that it sticks to the sauce. That looks pretty good, I think. So we'll turn it over and do the same on the other side. So got a little bit of mustard still on my hand here. Oh, that wasn't me either, that was the mustard. Ugh. It's bloody cold here this morning. It was minus 1.2, so absolutely freezing. So we'll just rub that in again like that. Get it all over all the edges, everywhere like that. Right down on the side there, because you want all the side of the meat, because the top of it is where the bark sort of part we keep talking about is going to end up on it with the cooking process. So I'll just get this so you can see me pouring it on, and so you don't see Annie's hand in front of the camera lens. Just put a heap on there. Try and get it around the edge. My voice is going a bit there. I need a coffee. I need a beer. It's too bloody early. So Annie will put a bit more on there now so you can see what we're doing. Like you can see we're putting a heap on here. If you're going to cook a good bit of meat up, don't be frightened to put a bit of use a bit of your bloody herbs and your rubs and stuff like that. Now just pat it down again.
Just give me your hand.
Annie's going to put some on my hands. She wants me to put some on the edge here. So I'm just going to try and cover all the exposed parts of the meat around the edges. What we'll do is, once I pat this down, I'll lift it up and we can put some up on this top edge here. So just along this top edge up here. So we just want to get a good thick coating on everything on it, as much as we can. So there we go. Just pat it all on, get it stuck to all the meat, and it should be pretty good. So hopefully that's it. That's the meat done. All we've got to do now is put it in the container, let it rest. We'll get the fire going, get all the charcoal heated up. I'll show you how much charcoal we're going to use, all that sort of thing. And then it's just a matter of let it cook away and do a bit of basting and keep it moist while it's cooking. Cheers everyone. Let's head out to the barbecue. Okay everyone, we're outside now. We're just about ready to get started. I've got the charcoal over here heating up, so you can see there I've got it in the old Snow Peak fire pit. Got the Uniflame fire starter. We've got about 16 briquettes in there, lighting them up. We're going to load up 8 in each of our trays over here in the little kettle. So we'll put 8 in there and then we'll put some others in there just to get it to the optimum temperature, 200 degrees Fahrenheit inside there before we put the meat in. So over here you can see we've got our meat resting out here, getting it to room temperature. Got all our cooking equipment we may need for the moment, all our probes. I'm actually going to use 2 different probes in the meat for the moment, and I've also got a handheld one here as well. So we're going to get the charcoal set up now. So I've got my new Flash fireproof hopefully gloves on, because you want to make sure you're safe. So we'll get the charcoal over here. So what we're going to do is load 6 of these up in here. I think I'll put them to the outside edge, or 8, sorry, and just get them piled up around the lost count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to put other charcoal in the other end that's unlit to get those lit up as it's cooking. So I'm using Hot Shot barbecue briquettes. I've never used these before, but they look quite solid actually. They seem to be holding their shape a little bit more, and they lit up pretty good, so we'll see how they go. So once we get the meat on, we'll show you that. I just thought I'd show you how we're loading up the barbecue itself. And I think we put the other briquettes in now, just to so that they can light up as they go. So we're just going to roughly put these in here, and these ones over here, they should light up with the heat as it's cooking throughout the cook-up. And we'll evaluate it on the heat, on how it's going, whether we need to put more in later on. But for the moment, this is how we're doing it. I've never done this before, meat cooked like this, but like you, I've surfed the net. You found my channel, I found a heap of other people's channels, and this is how I've learned off them. So, and that's basically the barbecue setup now. We've just got I'll put the little tray piece in. Now we cooked up some chicken wings in here last night. I've got the vent half open at the bottom. And I'll put the lid on. And I've got that sort of roughly half open at the top there. So we'll just let that sit now. Take these gloves off because they are bloody warm, but they do stop the from burning your hands. So we're going to let that get up to temperature. Once it gets up to temperature, we'll put the meat in and we'll start the cook up. Cheers, everyone. Okay, everyone, we're just about ready to start. We've got a couple of more things to do. You can see the meat down there, room temperature. We've got the probes all set in. We've got it set on Fahrenheit today, so it's at 44 degrees Fahrenheit. We want our temperature when we wrap it is 165, and I've also got the Weber one in there as well, which I can look at through the app on my phone. Now we're going to put in a couple of smoking bricks. There they are there. They smell bloody beautiful because I actually put some water and whiskey in there last night. They were a little bit dry, so they're absolutely fantastic. I'm going to lift off. So we're going to put the bricks in now. So Annie's going to lift the lid off, and I just got to lift this little wire mesh thing up, take it off, and we'll put the brick over the lit ones because we want them to smoke up. So one on each. Put that back in. We'll quickly put the lid back on again, and then now we're going to put the meat in. So you want to try and keep the lid closed as much as possible to keep the heat in there. We had it at around the 200 degrees that we wanted in there. So there's the meat there. I'm going to sit that down over the water and over to the side here a bit. Put the lid back on, and away we go. So we'll keep an eye on all the temperatures and that now. We want to get it to about 165, and once it gets to that, then we'll be able to take the meat out. And we're also going to periodically, probably in about an hour, we're going to lift the lid. If we need to put some water on it, spritz it a bit, I think the word is, and spritz it with some water. That'll be apple cider vinegar and water. I've got, I haven't bought those out yet, but if we need to, if it starts to look like it's drying out, because we want to keep it nice and moist, that's the whole idea, so that it gets really tender and pulls apart at the end. Cheers, everyone. Okay, everyone, we've come out. It's about 3 hours into the cook time. I'll just show you the screen there. So she's sitting at about 167. We've got the target at 195. Now we've got a couple of things we want to do. We have spritzed this a couple of times since we've had the cook on, probably an hour and a half, and we're up to 3 hours now, so we're just going to give it another go. So we just thought we'll take the opportunity to show you this time. We forgot about it the first time when we opened it. The bark is looking absolutely amazing on it. Now I'll just show you, we've had to move the lid around a couple of times, adjust the settings on here, close up the vents here a little bit to let the heat out, and down the bottom just to control the temperature and all that sort of thing. But now we're going to lift the lid up. I'll take hold of the camera, I'll hold it. Annie's got the little spritz thing in her hand, so you'll probably see her hand come across. And I'll try and get as much footage as I can while we've got the lid up, because we don't like leaving it up too long. So let's get into it, and we'll show you, eh? So have a look at that. Look at the bark on it. It's bloody beautiful. We're just keeping it real moist. You can see the charcoal lit up around the side there, so absolutely fantastic. It's just a matter of keeping it real moist, and should be bloody awesome. So there you go. There's a quick look. How's that? The next time we take it out, it'll be to wrap it in the baking paper over there, or the butcher's paper, and let it cook away and sit in that for a while. So cheers, everyone. We'll show you some more in a minute. Okay, everyone, it's been about half an hour since we did the last spritz. Now, I forgot to mention, we put a 50-50 solution of the apple cider vinegar and water in this, and we also put a little cap of Jim Beam in there as well. So that's what we've made up our little spritz spray with. Now over here, we've got the butcher's paper laid out here on our chopping board. We've also sprayed the paper with a little bit of the spritz solution. So we're going to come back over to the barbecue now. Now it's time to wrap the meat. So we're going to pull the probes out and wrap the meat, and then we'll reinsert the probes back into the meat through the paper. Now the reason you do this is to really trap in all the moisture and the heat, and just get it really cooked inside. It'll sort of cook inside the butcher's paper and hopefully hold all the moisture in there and turn out really well. It's looking good so far. Like I said, first time we've ever done this, so we're hoping it's going to be great. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. We'll lift the top off, put it over there. I'm going to pull the probes out. 1, 2, and he'll lift the top back on. So I'm going to lift a bit of meat off. Going to put that over there. I'm going to let Annie wrap that because I'm hopeless at wrapping stuff. So she's just going to spray it again. And keep the moisture in there. Now this will keep cooking inside this butcher's paper. So it's just a matter of getting it real moist. Wrapping it up. And just remembering where the top was and where the bottom was. So there's the bottom there. Beautiful. So we'll take it back over. We'll sit it back on the cooker. Hopefully that's cooled down enough. I'll get Annie to take the camera. We're going to turn this around this way. We want the thickest part over there. And we're going to insert the probe back into the centre of the meat down there. And I might put this one over this side, I think. And then we'll put the lid back on. Now a little thermometer thing here is just going off because it's reached its optimal temperature down there. I've just got to change that. We want it to get to about 200 degrees. We had those set at about 170. So we're going to open up the vents on it, get the heat coming up to back up to temperature again, and we're going to let that hopefully cook away for another 2 hours now inside that paper. So we'll show you the finished result once we get there. Cheers everyone. Okay everyone, it's about, what is it, 2:30 now, so it's about an hour after we've done all the wrapping and all that. We've been monitoring the temperature. It's slowly starting to got back up to temperature again. It's sitting at about 284 on top of the barbecue there, so I'll just show you. It might be up around 300 now. No, about 275. It was up around 300 because what we've been doing, the way you control the temperature on this barbecue is by the vents on here and the vent underneath. So the little vent down there, this little handle here, you use that and you use it within conjunction with the lid here too. So if you have the lid with these vents, because our charcoal's over this side here, so if you turn this so that this is over here, the heat's got to travel over the top and then exit out through the vent here, so you get more heat up on the top here. It was getting up around 320 up on the top there, so I've turned this around to here. I've closed these down around to a half, and I've closed the one underneath around a half and moved this around here, so the heat's exhausting out through the side here. It just slows the charcoal from burning so much and keeps a more uniform temperature around here. So we want this at around 216. So it's at 230 there, 280 at the top there, and it'll be around the 300, 330 at the back there. So just thought I'd explain that to you, how we're controlling the temperature on this. So our plan is another hour. We reckon it'll be up to that 200 degrees. That's the temperature we're trying to get now. When we took it out and wrapped it, it was around that 170. We got it out, we wrapped it. Now we're trying to get it to that 200. We've got it wrapped in the butcher's paper. So once it gets to that magical 200, we'll actually remove it, and we're probably going to rest it for about 40 minutes. We'll probably just sit it on the baking dish, sit it inside in the microwave, just let it sit in there, and it'll keep cooking. While that's going, we've got the veggies cooking inside in the air fryer. Got sweet potato, carrots, potatoes in duck fat. So we're going to cook all those up. Going to start those probably around 3:30, and they'll take about an hour. So we're hoping by about 4:30, something like that, we should be right to start carving up and serving up. So from 10 o'clock this morning till around 5 o'clock, that's probably cooked a fraction quicker than we thought, but we were thinking about 8 hours. But as long as it meets all the temperatures and all that sort of thing, I think we'll be fine. So I just thought I'd show you that bit now. Next part I'll show you will probably be when we take it out and sit it in the microwave, and then we'll move on to the last part where we're actually carving it all up. Cheers everyone. Okay everyone, the moment's come. We've taken the lid off. Annie will go down and show you there now. So this is what it looks like in the brown paper. You can see our charcoal there has pretty well burnt down how we wanted it to. Started over here and went across to there and across over to there, so it's really worked out well. We're going to take it out now. It's at 202 degrees. Now what we're going to do is, over on the side here, we've got a little esky. Now we've put a little old tea towel in the bottom there. What we're going to do is put it inside the esky, believe it or not, probably for about 40 minutes, and it'll continue to keep cooking inside that esky. It'll keep all the warmth in there and keep cooking. Then we'll go in. I'm going to turn the potatoes on in a sec, get them cooking, and should all finish off pretty well around the same time. So we'll pull out the temperature probes. We're finished with them now. We'll grab the meat. The paper's still doing its job, and we'll sit it inside there. Close the lid, and that's it. So we'll let that rest. We're going to go in and get the potatoes done. We'll show you the rest in a minute. Cheers everyone. Okay everyone, we're inside. I've cooked the veggies over in the air fryer over here. They're all done. I've got corn in the microwave, got the plate set up, but what you all want to see is what's in here. So this has been resting. It's 4:04. So I can't remember what time we took it off. 3, so it's been about an hour. Now we'll take it out of there. I can tell you that is still really warm in there. Hopefully it's nice and soft. So we'll unwrap it. There we go. You can still see the steam coming off it, so it's still really warm. I'll get my little temperature probe over here. We'll open her up. She's on Celsius, so we'll change that to Fahrenheit. We'll stick her in. Now, you want this to go in nice and soft like that, not too much resistance. So she's still at around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's really good. It's time to cut it. Now, I think we will go across this way here, because I think that's the way the grain will be running that way. So we're going to go the opposite way. So I'm just going to run this down through this end piece here, and it's falling apart there. It's absolutely beautiful. Like you can see that knife just slowly going through it. That is really beautiful. Still nice and moist inside. So looks absolutely amazing. We'll just do the little pull test. There we go there. It's absolutely amazing. I better cut a little tiny bit off here. Oh, that is amazing. The bark is beautiful. It's really breaking up really nice. I'm going to pass a little bit to Annie. You'll probably hear her in the background there. So, going to get that plated up. It's turned out fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed. I'll get it plated up, then we'll finish up. Don't want to let it get too cold now. We'll get it all served up. I'll do a bit of that B-roll stuff just to give you a look at it. But what was it again? Beef cap?
Rumpcap.
Rumpcap. Forgot the name of it already. Rumpcap. Cooked over about 6 hours on a little cheap ass Bunnings kettle. It only cost me like $69, so you don't need real expensive equipment to do this. You can do it on the cheap. So I'll get it plated up before it gets too cold. Thanks very much. I'll show you a little bit more in a minute. Cheers, everyone. Okay everyone, got it all plated up. Annie's down enjoying it. I'll quickly show you mine. There it is there, have a look at that. I can tell you what, that meat is really moist. Absolutely turned out fantastic. Can't wait to try it out. So don't forget, barbecue spit rotisseries, brisket and steak rub. You can buy them off them. This is absolutely amazing. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this cook up video I've done. It's been absolutely fantastic. Like I said, only a cheap kettle barbecue that we bought from Bunnings. I did a video on it ages ago. I'll see if I can put a photo or link it in the description so you can have a watch of that. It was only like $69, so you don't need a real expensive barbecue to do this. Been absolutely amazing. About 6.5 hours. It's turned out fantastic. So thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, look after each other. I'm going to enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers everyone. And by the way, if you're wondering where Winnie is, she's sitting down there waiting on hers. Cheers everyone, bye.